All right, so first and foremost, shout out to Barbershop Conversations, the whole LDBC, Dante's Boxing Nation. Who else? Who else video I watch? Boxing Ego. I watched everybody's video in response to Abel, the reject white supremacist Sanchez, doubling down on his statement by saying black fighters do not have a pleasing style to sell. Okay. I saw his interview that he did on Dante's Boxing Nation. I saw the interview he did with Barbershop Conversations. I must say this, though. I must say this. I don't even know if it's respect. It's not even respect. It's bold. And not only it's bold, but for him to come on black media and just double down on his statements by saying, black fighters, lumping in them to a broad generalization by saying they have a style that doesn't sell, as of course as black fighters are a monolith, and they're not a monolith. Same thing with he employs with Triple G by saying Mexican style. All Mexicans are not monoliths. They don't have one particular style. Same thing when you diss boxing fans by saying that boxing fans only want to see one type of fight, which is back and forth, toe-to-toe, rock'em sock'em type of fights. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, you dish your own fighter by saying that's the only way that Triple G can fight is by standing toe-to-toe for Canelo Alvarez. For Triple G to be successful, Canelo Alvarez needs to stand still and be there to get hit. Really? What kind of logic is that? But he was able to double down on Dante Boxing Nation's interview, double down on Barbershop Conversations, and do the typical white supremacist code that New Age white supremacy has been doing today, which is deny, deflect, and be dismissive. He would just basically say, well, no, my statement wasn't this. You're the one that's racist for pointing that out. That's what he was doing. He insisted on calling Dante and Fred from Barbershop Conversations. No, it's not about race. You're a racist. Right? You say, Abel says insensitive, broad generalizations about black fighters. Doesn't backtrack, doesn't apologize, just doubles down and doesn't really explain why. He just evades, like I said, he denies, deflects, and is dismissive, and he contradicts himself numerous of times. When Barbershop drilled him about, okay, so elaborate what's a black fighting style, right? And Abel was trying to, he mentions, of course, Floyd Mayweather. He mentions Floyd Mayweather because that's what the original interview from Fight Hype, or at least that clip from Fight Hype, they were referring to. The question was based off of Floyd Mayweather. So he mentions Floyd Mayweather by having, that particular style and he started his career. He was knocking everybody out between 130 and 135. He was known as Pretty Boy Floyd during that time. He wasn't making no money. He wasn't making no money until he changed his persona and wasn't a cash cow and a pay-per-view box office king until he turned into Floyd Money Mayweather. And he was a tactician, a more tactical boxer puncher during that time. And that's not the style, right? That's appealing according to Abel Sanchez's definition of what needs to be, what's exciting to boxing fans. As, like I said, as boxing fans are all one monolithic group. That's just like the same thing. All boxing fans are just wants to pay to see guys get knocked out, stand toe to toe. That's what we all like, right? He lumps everybody into a large, broad generalization, and that's what he does. But again, he didn't back down, and he goes on black media and says this. Doesn't apologize. Doesn't waver. He's set in his ways. Again, he has these symptoms of characteristics of a white supremacist, which is cognitive dissonance, inferiority, right? That's what he displayed during those interviews, trying to spin it. And just like Fred from Barbershop was like saying, you're not going to spin this. Well, Abel was trying to spin that thing better than any other DJ you could think of. Kid Capri, I mean, Funkmaster Flex. He was trying to spin it so many different ways. Every time Fred or Dante pressed him with logic, oh well, they need to act this way. See, they need to act this way outside of the ring. And again, he totally contradicts himself because Triple G, you market this guy with the gimmick of Mexican style. He doesn't really, especially when he stepped up in competition, he hasn't been boxing Mexican style, toe to toe. He hasn't been doing that. You know, he's been very tactical with his last fights, especially when he stepped up in competition. Of course, with Canelo, Alvarez, and Danny Jacobs. Right? He hasn't been displaying that. And not only that, this guy doesn't really speak English. So during the press tour of them promoting this fight with a rematch of Canelo and Triple G ain't the one speaking. It's Abel that's speaking. And so he demonstrates reasons and how he feels that his answers to saying that black boxers have one particular style and they're boring and they don't sell tickets and boxing fans only care about one particular style. Of course, he contradicts himself so many times. It's crazy, right? And it's really easy to debunk everything he said by so many different black fighters that are carrying the sport right now that have an action-packed style that the fans, by his definition, only want to see. The fans only want to see one particular style of boxing, according to Abel Sanchez. Right? But with this particular fight that's coming up, and I wasn't even too keen on the original fight because I didn't pay to see that fight at all. I don't know if they got watched the fight. Did I watch the fight? The first fight between Canelo and Triple G? I think I watched the highlights. That's it. But I wasn't too keen on the first fight either because, I didn't like the affiliations of, Golden Boy Promotions. And I wasn't too keen on Triple G for Abel Sanchez dissing Andre Ward. But now that he doubles down on his racist, white supremacist views, I have to boycott this fight. And anything to do with Triple G and Canelo, got to boycott this fight. And any upcoming fights, with the exception of if Canelo or Triple G step up and face Jermall Charlo. If they fight Jermall, I will watch that fight. If they fight Jermall Charlo. Other than that, I don't care about this fight. I don't care about what they do after they fight each other. They can fight each other 5 more times or fight somebody else. Other than Charlo, I don't care who they fight. So this is a permanent boycott. And I have this video of Terry Norris, who Abel Sanchez is praising. He's doing one of those I'm not racist, I have a black friend type of narrative, right? So he, again, double downs on his racist views and says, I'm not racist, I trained Terry Norris to be a Hall of Famer. When in fact, and I employed the style Mexican style, right? When in fact, this man is a walking vegetable. He has Parkinson's. He is a man that's forever changed. All because you employed a style that you felt was more marketable to the boxing public, the boxing fans. You employed this Mexican style on Terry Norris, and this guy is a walking vegetable who, as you can see, he needs subtitles for him to talk. for you to understand him. And this is, you know, I'm not trying to be funny, but you listen to this man and you record the conversation from Terry Norris. It is so hard to understand this brother. You really have to listen to him speak several times, well, at least a few times, to understand what he's talking about, or at least pause for a second to understand what he's saying, because his speech is so slurred. He's so punch drunk because of the concussions and the CTE that he suffered from the Mexican style that Abel Sanchez employed for Terry Norris's career. And he prides himself on damaging this man's future. But yet you frown upon a Floyd Mayweather who has a technical style where the sweet science, where Floyd said himself, he says that he wants to make sure he has a future after boxing. He wants to make sure that he has all his faculties in order, which he does. He is on Instagram, always flexing, traveling the world. Still very wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Looks like he has everything secure for him and secure for his family. You know, he can basically do what he wants when he wants because he has all his faculties. Didn't suffer any very serious damage from boxing other than his hands. Other than that, he's good to go. But you pride yourself on Terry Norris. He's in the Hall of Fame, and I employed the Mexican style, and this man is a walking vegetable forever, right? So, like I said, I don't care about this fight between Canelo and Triple G. I don't care about the rematch. I'm not watching it. It's definitely a boycott. It's a boycott for any future fight outside of Charlo brothers. They got to step up and fight the Jermall Charlo, excuse me. They got to step up and fight him. Other than that, I don't care. I'm not watching the rematch. I'm not going to talk about it. And that's it. So, those are my thoughts on that, family. Leave your comments down below. Will you be watching the rematch? Do you care about it? Let me know what you guys think also about Abel Sanchez's comments regarding black fighters. Leave your comments down below in the comment section, family. Until next time, Chauncey, a.k.a. the Black Separatist, signing out.